back to Art of the Unquiet Grave. If you're new here, I'm Ash, and today we're going to be working on part 3 of our Cabinet of Curiosities project that we've been doing. Today, though, we're going to be talking about faux florals and how to do floral arrangements for areas and spaces that are outside of, just the normal standard vase. So how you can put them in, china cabinets or curio cabinets, domed bell jars, something more freestanding where they don't have the support of a vase to hold them up. So basically though, what we're going to do is we're going to take the bunches that they come in when they're all connected, and we're going to take some wire cutters. Like I have needle nose pliers that have wire cutters in them, and you're just going to snip each individual stem and then we're going to make like a little base to put them in, basically. So what I did was I got pegboard from the Dollar Tree and a little foam floral insert, which I'll show you in some clips here. And you're just going to go ahead and you're going to individually sort of nestle those flower stems into the pegboard and the foam underneath. I'll show you in a second here. It'll make more sense instead of me just talking about it. But you're going to try to fill up as much as you can, and you're going to cut your pegboard to whatever size arrangement you're trying to work. So you're just going to kind of work with the space that you're creating your project in, right? So if you were doing this in like a domed, like a bell jar or something like that, you're going to be trying to cover the base as much as you can, and we're going to get a lot of like different dimension and textures in there to make it look more realistic. So I'll go ahead and I'll cut to actually assembling the floral arrangements now, and then I'll add some more, tips and tricks as we're going for working with floral pieces. And then I'll see you in a little bit.
So here's the foam floral insert that I was talking about from Dollar Tree, and also the pegboard that I got from Dollar Tree as well. They both came in a pack of 2. So basically all I did was just take that circular foam insert and just put it underneath of the pegboard and push my body weight on top of it until it nestled in there and any excess around the edges kind of popped off. And then I went and cut all of the blossoms off of the bunch of flowers that I got and made them all individual stems. Just so we can kind of get better coverage and get them to lie in a more natural way. Now there were some little clusters that had tiny blooms on them, like you can see here. There was like a set of 3 little buds, and I left those on the same main stalk there. So basically all you're doing is you're taking those individual stems that you cut off and you're just gently inserting them into the foam through the pegboard, and that pegboard just gives them some more stability so the foam doesn't just deteriorate and they don't kind of flop over time. Now just some tips for picking fake flowers. Like I said, I got these off of AliExpress, and I think they had about 6 main blossoms on them, and they were $1.80 per bunch, which is really affordable. And the other reason that I liked them was that they came in more muted colors, tons of different shades, but they looked more natural to me than say something that you would get at Dollar Tree that's like a bright cherry red or like a jet black. But if you would happen to, want to source your flowers locally from like a Dollar Tree, instead of having to wait months for them to come from China, just a couple tips about that too. You can take acrylic paint and mix it within a little bit of water, make a wash to go over your flowers, sort of dunk the heads in, and that'll mute the colors as well. Or you could also take spray paint and just sort of spray like black spray paint around the edges on the very tops of the faux flowers, and that'll also kind of give it like a withered, aged look. But for these I just got straight out of the box, and then just all we're doing here is just sort of manipulating them into a little configuration that we like. The other thing that's interesting about these in particular was that they came with some variation in like the foliage there. You can see there's little plastic fern bits, and they're all kind of like a brown undertone, which to me made it look more realistic. Also, the leaves on the stems there, they're a separate part from the blossom itself, so you can shift them up and down to get more coverage where you need it. So basically you're just going to kind of fill in any blank spots that you see now toward the base. When you're packing them in pretty tightly, like we are here, when you're not going to have a lot of wiggle room for the flowers, you mostly want the petals and the leaves to be up top. because that's where you're going to see the most gaps. But if you have some sections where you're going to see the black base sticking out, then you'd want to scooch those leaves down. So it's kind of all just a game of finagling here, depending on what kind of cabinet you're putting them in or what the configuration is. So basically just play with it until you get a look that you like. See there, I just slid the leaves up again to try to cover that blank spot in between that little cluster right there. Now for these arrangements, I was trying to give them some height in the back and make the stems lower in the front. That's going to be more directly behind the skeletons, which you'll see in part 4, our last part coming up here.
Okay, so the floral element, so part 3 is done. And I think that turned out really great too. So the next episode that we're going to do, the next video, is going to be how we're putting it all together. So how our finished final glimpse of our Cabinet of Curiosities will be in the next video that I put out. And that'll we'll go over everything and how you can set up your, I don't want to say a diorama, but your scene here. And we'll make our final resting place for our little Siamese twins. And I'll see you then. Okay, thanks.